Welcome to War Robots. My name is Sparkman, and today we're looking at the test server. Um, in this test server, there are three new prototype robots that we'll be reviewing, and they have the special ability to switch between weapon sets. So you can run two of one sort of weapon and then switch between to another set that is carried in reserve behind the robot. So it's an interesting capability because essentially each robot doesn't have too much power brought to the bear at any instant, but it can essentially change roles. It can, for instance, change from a short range to medium range, or medium range to long range, or you can change between plasma and splash, depending on what your opponent is. So um, we'll just test this one out right now. So we'll start with the light robot, and the light robot can run four light weapons, and I've got aphids. I've chosen aphids and pinatas for this one. Now, because the light robot doesn't have a lot of health, I opted for something that's supposedly a little bit more hit and run sort of role, because, well, essentially it doesn't have any other protections other than the fact that it's relatively fast, and it doesn't have super high health. The speed, to be truthful, isn't that fantastic. There are other light robots which are much faster than this. So its killer app, if you like, is the fact that it can switch between weapon types. So aphids, you can sit behind things and fire over top of them, and then the pinatas have a reasonable punch for what they are. And after you fire them, you have to take cover and hide, which is a standard technique for running pinatas. The switchability on this has a 20-second cooldown. I think you'll see that in a second. So I'm starting with the aphids, and then I switch to the pinatas. So on the test server, it doesn't work the same way as it doesn't behave the same way as the live server. I found the controls very much more sensitive and very difficult to aim in the test server. Okay, it's a 17-second cooldown on the light robot. Nevertheless, it's the Pinata's fired. Unfortunately, you can see it doesn't have much health, so it didn't survive very long on the battlefield. Now, I'll try this. I'll start with the Orkans. The idea is we can dump a load of Orkans very quickly, and then switch to Terrans and provide continuous fire. I'm not particularly happy with the way this one works, but we'll give it a go anyway. In this video, in fact, I have the longest run with the heavy robot, which switches between ranges. These two weapons have roughly similar ranges, 50 meters difference really. But again, the medium robot isn't that fast. It's only 40 kilometers an hour. There we go, I dump. So again, it's not the best target because it's a Fujin, and its shield took a lot of that. So now I go to Terrans and finish it off. And it's got a 22-second, I think, cooldown before you can change again. So really, you don't continuously swap between weapons unless you swap roles, essentially. I don't think this is a bad thing. I think it's actually workable, and I think, like any robot, you have to just learn how to play it. You learn its idiosyncrasies, and you learn what weapons are best suited for the role swapping, whether it's splash versus plasma, or whether it's different ranges. So here I've got the different ranges. Now I've got the tridents running. The cooldown on this one was 32 seconds. Again, it's not so bad because when you swap ranges, because it's a long and medium range support bot, 32 seconds is fine. You spend a little bit of time in one range, and then you can swap over to the next one, and then as the battle changes. So here I'm running tridents because there are robots that are close. And as those robots get cleared out, then we'll swap back to the longer range to be able to hit them. So essentially like running two carnages, a carnage with tridents and a carnage with long range support. I've chosen the KWKs because you could run, and I have seen people in the test server running, 4 trebuchets, and essentially you get to fire 2 trebuchets for a while, and then you get to swap over and fire another 2, and at the instant of swapping over you can actually deal a lot of damage because you've essentially fired 4 trebuchets in a very short amount of time, 4 fully charged trebuchets. And the thing is, the trebuchets will charge up behind your back. The weapons are still functioning behind your back. So yeah, so we stay with the tridents. Eventually, there we go. Now we've got longer range bots, so use the KWKs. So I feel the swap time on the heavy robot works quite well. I don't really think it's a problem on any of them, because if it was too quick, they would become like a 4-weapon bot, and then they would become a real game changer. Have 4 weapons, but right now they're not, in my opinion, a game changer. They're really like a jack of all trades, master of none type bot. You can do a couple of different things with them, which you can't do with other bots. But the compromise you make is that they don't have particularly high health. This is reasonable. The heavy is reasonable. It's about the same as a Fury. The speed is reasonable. Again, the same as a Fury. And the firepower is less than a Fury, of course. Only 2 weapons rather than 3. But the ability to change. The medium has the health about this little bit less than a Regatka. It has a speed which I think is too slow, 40 kilometers an hour. I think it needs to be faster to be more useful. And again, you can swap between 2 different roles. So you can run between plasma and splash, as I did, but it's not a very survivable robot for knife fighting, for close combat fighting. I find 120 health, less than a Regatka. It hasn't got the ability to jump out of the way when things get tight and tough. And what you really got is just the ability to change weapons. I think the medium is probably best with range swapping as well, changing from medium range to short range weapon sets, and I'll show that in another video. I found that one worked a little bit more effectively than the Orkan Taran swap. Of course, you can run 4 Orkans if you like, and dump one set and then swap over and dump another set, which is quite devastating. But you have to survive for about 6 seconds to do that. And at 120 health, you don't have much chance there. And the light robot, again, too slow for what it is. It has 80-something K health, but its speed is only 52 kilometers an hour, which is not fast enough for a light robot. I think it's 52. You can check the beginning of the video where it has all the speeds. In my opinion, it should be at least 60 kilometers an hour to function as a light robot. So that's my criticism of the bots as I found them. I think the speeds of the medium and the light are too slow to make them useful. The medium cannot employ hit and run tactics at a speed of 40 kilometers an hour. It's even slower than the walking speed of a Regatka, which is 45. And the 52 kilometers an hour of the light robot is barely faster than a Galahad for a bot that's meant to be a beacon stealer. No, it needs to be around 60, I think. So, in my opinion, if they buff the speeds a bit, those bots will actually find use in the battlefield. Anyway, until the next video, this is Sparkman signing out.